last night on the local news. I don't watch the local news a lot. When I do watch it, it's for entertainment purposes.
Really? Or to look at the weather lady?
Well, it was Greg Fishel. He's a man and he's unattractive.
Oh, you're watching the wrong channel, brother.
It was like the 11 o'clock news, and they had this guy on there. They were interviewing him.
I was asleep, by the way.
Okay, I was watching the news. I was, catching up on things. And they said there's a young man at the Cary Town Center, that's a local mall, and he was at the food court and he was choking. And this other man said, I was just eating lunch with me and my friends, and I saw him across the way, and I could tell there was some sort of commotion or something going on, and I looked up, I could tell that he was choking. He was beginning to turn blue, and his mother was very worried. He's like a 20-year-old guy, but he's with his mom. And he said, I had to go over there. I did the Heimlich to him. I had to do it 15 times.
Did the Heimlich to him? 15 times?
Yeah, I thought the international rule was to like give up after 12, but that's wrong. You go until you can't go anymore. So on number 15, I don't know what it was. I mean, he was at the food court. It's probably like a piece of pepperoni from Sbarro or something.
First of all, a little disclaimer here. We here at Good Morning Chia Lincoln, and that we, I mean Rhett and Link.
And Lincoln.
And Lincoln. We do not claim to give medical advice or legal advice.
And if we do, you shouldn't listen.
Yeah, so that being said, it's my understanding that you shouldn't even give the Heimlich if the person is making any type of noise. Only if they're not making any noise, which I think means that their airway is entirely blocked, should you even begin the Heimlich. So, but if somebody's turning blue, that means that they need the Heimlich.
Okay, yeah, this guy, no air was coming out. So
correct me if I'm wrong, paramedics. I know you're going to do that in the comments anyway. So
this
go for it.
This dude does the Heimlich, and 15
times.
It dislodges.
That's a lot of times.
Yeah,
man.
that's like. I mean, can we demonstrate?
Yeah, I'll demonstrate on you.
I don't want to. I just don't want to do that.
You thought you were going to demonstrate on me. Ha!
So it takes 15 times, and the thing is dislodged. The guy is saved, of course.
And the whole food court erupts in applause.
I don't know.
Or what?
They didn't say that. But the local news shows up for these kind of things. If I've learned anything about the local news, is that if you save somebody's life, if you're a hero, if you save an animal's life or an animal saves a human's life, they'll interview the dog. I mean, they will interview the person who did the saving. And this is another observation. The person will always say the same thing. They will say, listen, I ain't a hero. I just did what any normal guy would do in a situation like this. I mean, really, I know people are calling me a hero, but I think that anybody in their right mind, when given this opportunity, would have done just what I did. I mean, I was just being a fellow human being.
Or did he say the tried and true statement, I was just doing my job? What does this guy do?
Well, okay. This guy is a state trooper.
Ah.
So
did he say, I was just doing my job?
I think he said both. I think he said, I was just doing my job. And, I'm just a normal state trooper. I just did what any state trooper would do, in this position. I was just eating lunch with my friends and saw this boy choking. I went over there and started giving the Heimlich to him and said, well, dadgummit, I'm going to do this 15 times before this piece of pepperoni from Sbarro comes out and goes back on his pizza.
So they got a little product placement in the local news. A little promotion of Sbarro.
So, but I just noticed that people who are heroes on the local news always say the same thing.
That's great. They're
humble.
A little humility goes a long way. That's refreshing in society. I hope you're, I hope you're not critiquing the guy.
No, I think it's a great thing, but I'm just waiting for the one guy who says, you know what, dadgummit, I am a hero. I saw that sucker over there choking like nothing doing, and nothing was doing, anybody was doing nothing. I said, well, if this boy's gonna survive, I'm going to be the one to help him. And I went over there. I had to give this sucker the Heimlich 15 times. Can you believe that? I am a hero. Somebody get me a hat that says hero, or at least a t-shirt that says hero on it. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody talk like that just once for, it'd be fun.
Well, that would also be refreshing because it is true, right? I mean, it's like, first of all, I like to point out that from personal experience, I know in a crowd of people, everybody's different, and some people have the genetic makeup, the personality predisposition, and maybe for a state trooper, the training to actually be a hero. I think people want to be humble, and that's good, but they don't,
That's good. Humility is good.
we don't want to insinuate that everybody else there wasn't a hero, but that's true. From my own experience, I remember one time.
Interesting.
I was in my mom and her husband, Lewis. They got married after me and my wife got married, so I don't call him my stepdad. I just call him my mom's husband.
And he calls you his son-in-law.
Yeah, it's better that way. I love the guy. He's a great guy. His name is Lewis. Shout out to Lewis.
There you go.
He doesn't watch videos on the internet, but he does go on Craigslist every day.
And he cooks a mean pig.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, we're sitting in Mom and Lewis's house, and all of a sudden, it's late at night, it's dark. Bang! We hear something. And immediately Lewis looks at me and he says, there's been an accident at the intersection right outside of my house.
You thought it was like fireworks or something.
Yeah, but then he runs out the door, and I run out with him, and I come to find out later that there's a stop sign there, and people are always running the stop sign. Long story short, some guy ran the stop sign and hit this car, and so we run out there at the minute, the car crashes over there, and I was paralyzed with fear. It was like I didn't know what to do, and Lewis ran up to the car here where they got hit and started tending to those people in the car, and I realized that I was just kind of paralyzed with fear.
You realized that Lewis was the hero and you were the zero.
Well, no, it's not that I was a zero. It's just that, maybe because of that experience, I will be the hero next time.
But what your observation is that not everybody does. What that state trooper said is not true, because if that was true, if I was just doing what any normal guy would do in a situation, if that's true, then everybody in the food court would have been over there in a line. Hold on, give me a turn. Let me give it a Heimlich. I don't care how many times.
Oh God, you get 1 turn, you get 5, I'll get 5, then he gets 5.
It'll come out on the 15th time, and then heck, do it 5 more times for good measure. Come on. Everybody does this kind of thing. This is what normal people do. They save people. It isn't true, because he came from across the food court and did it. So all the normal people were sitting there watching this guy die. It isn't what normal people do. Not everybody's a hero. That's the truth. You heard it here on GMCL.
No, but this is the one thing I am going to say.
Give that man a t-shirt.
I don't think that not being, we feel obligated to be humble whenever we're heroes. I really haven't been one. Yeah. Have you ever been a hero? Mr. This is what should be said?
No.
Whew. This is what I think it should be.
I saved an animal, like a duck, at some point.
Let us know in the comments what you think about this, but this is my stance. First of all, the default stance of humility, which is, it's almost false humility, because because you're saying things that aren't true, at least.
But you're saying what has to be said, what is expected.
But I don't think you should say that, and I don't think you should say what you're saying, which is the opposite extreme, like being a jerk.
A t-shirt. You shouldn't get a t-shirt.
Give me a hat. Give me a t-shirt. I'm a hero. Hallelujah.
It'd be funny though, wouldn't it?
I think
Yep.
You should use it as an opportunity to not only be a hero, but to also be a leader. And I'm being serious.
Yeah,
here.
I like this. Maybe you should say,
Listen, no.
I think that anybody in their right mind should do what I did.
Yeah, so you know what? I saw the moment. I seized it. I didn't know if anybody else would do it, but I knew I had to do something. And you know what? Turn to the camera and say, so next time you see someone choking across the food court, you be the hero. Because you know what? I'm just a normal guy.
And the person who actually dislodges the pepperoni should definitely get a t-shirt.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And before we get into it, let me say that as a result of Good Morning Chia Lincoln, I learned a lot anyway. Just a result of yesterday's show.
There was a lot you needed to know.
Well, I learned from a couple of days ago that if I pulled my battery thing off, it would reset my engine light, which I did this morning. Thank you, viewers, for commenting. I also learned yesterday what the term levity actually means, because I didn't use it correctly.
And it totally, okay. I will admit, I did know what levity meant, but I didn't exactly, I wasn't listening. I was trying to think of the next thing I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize to all the viewers out there.
For not correcting me?
Yeah. Okay. But it gave them an opportunity to correct you.
Also learned that a barn owl and a barred owl are two different types of legitimate owls.
I learned that, definitely. That was new to me.
So maybe you can learn something today.
Well, I was exaggerating when I said that an asteroid nearly missed the Earth and almost killed all life on Earth. But I was not exaggerating by saying that an asteroid almost hit the Earth. I mean, it came within like 3,000 miles of the Earth earlier today. But it was a relative...
Did you feel the breeze of it or something?
Well, I have a telescope and I'm constantly scanning the Earth. That's why I don't sleep. Didn't you know this about me? I have like a $350 telescope and I'm constantly just scanning the Earth. I have a feed that comes into my computer and I'm middle of the night. I'm like, oh crap, an asteroid. Better call NASA.
Why didn't you call me if you knew this was happening? Like,
Well,
alert me and my family?
I figured that it would miss us, and I was right. Actually, I got this from the news. I don't have a telescope. I got it from the news, and the news said that there was a pretty small, just a few meters across, asteroid that came within a few thousand miles of the Earth, and it was pulled in by our gravitational forces that the Earth exerts on things, and then it kind of slingshotted it around.
Okay. But it was a couple of meters wide. If that would have hit the Earth, what would have happened?
It most likely would have, been torn up by the friction or dissolved in the friction of the atmosphere, and maybe a few pieces known as meteorites when they come into the atmosphere and hit the Earth would have made it, maybe like hit somebody in the head, a really unfortunate person, maybe killed like one person.
Well, actually,
or a pet or something.
It's a meteor when it's coming into the atmosphere.
Yes, that's true.
And then if it goes and it lands and you can pick it up, that's a meteorite.
And you can make like jewelry out of it.
And you should sell it for vast quantities of money.
Or you can do what my uncle does, and you can just get rocks out of your backyard and say that it's meteorites and sell them on the streets of New York.
You want a meteorite? I got one in my trench coat right here.
I got lots of meteorites right here, baby.
This one's still on fire. It's a meteor. It's not even a right yet.
But it looks a lot like a pond, a river stone.
No, this is straight from space. It's meteorite.
Okay, I'll give you $3 for it.
Smell it. You can smell the meteoriteness of it.
Okay. Now,
Break the bad news, man.
here's the bad news. Earlier this week, if you have a large telescope or you have the news, you may have seen that Russian scientists have predicted that in the year 2036, that's not too long away, we'll all still be alive unless, a disease or something. I don't know why I said that.
Well, we all die, right? I mean, it's just...
A lot of people who are watching this will still be alive in 2036. Apparently, there is a massive asteroid 2 football fields across. Now, when we get up into that size, we're talking catastrophic damage if this thing makes it to Earth, because it will penetrate the atmosphere. Sorry, I'm getting better, people. Day by day, I am getting better. And it will break the atmosphere, and then it will be like nuclear bombs just going off, and it'll cause a nuclear winter. It's going to kill a lot of people. This is bad news. 2036, very large asteroid on a collision course with Earth. Now, the Russian scientists are like, this is a very horrible thing that will happen. I don't know how to do a Russian accent, so that was it. But the U.S. scientists, the NASA people, are saying, well,
They disagree, and they're challenging them
Technically,
for like a wrestling match.
there's like a 1 in 250,000 chance that this will actually happen. So technically, the Russians are correct, but
They're alarmists.
But it's very unlikely.
but we're talking a 1 in 250,000 chance that this asteroid is going to come into contact with the Earth. Now, and I think that, year 2034 or so, we're going to have better predictive powers, and we're going to know. And let's just say that we determine that this thing is on a collision course with Earth, just like the movies Deep Impact and Armageddon. We've been through this before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm not worried about this. 2 entire movies have already been made, and they were almost made in the same year, I think. With viable solutions to going out to this thing and blowing it up.
But in Armageddon, Bruce Willis saved the day, but in Deep Impact, they blew it apart with nuclear bombs, and one of the big pieces still made contact with the Earth.
Well, whichever one had Robert Duvall in it is the one that I'm going with. And hopefully that's not the one that had Ben Affleck.
I don't know. Well, that's the one that it made catastrophic impact.
Well, that's the one I'm going with. Whichever one has Robert Duvall,
But I'm
going with.
But here's the deal. I've got a theory. I've got a solution, and it's not blowing up the meteorite.
Those are not the same. A theory and a solution are not the same.
Whatever
thing.
it is. We don't need to do anything to the object coming at us. All we need to do is something here on Earth, something very simple. And I'll be in charge of the committee to do this.
Wrap the Earth in Snuggies, like mass-produced Snuggies, so it'll just bounce off the Earth.
No, that's not my idea. I am proposing a system called EPS, the Earth Positioning System. 4 very large thrusters, one at the North Pole, one at the South Pole, one in China, and one in the U.S. Actually, you know what? Let's put the other one like at the equator. Both of the other ones should be at the equator. One of them should be like Panama, and the other one should be like the other side of the world. You get my idea. 4 very large thrusters. I'll oversee one of them. I'll oversee the one at the equator. I don't want to spend any time at the poles.
I'll oversee the one at the other side of the equator.
Very,
We
very
can talk every day on the
large
phone.
thrusters. And these thrusters are strategically placed so that as the Earth rotates during the day, as it's coming around, it's like, all right, fire up thruster 3. And it's like, and the Earth moves a little bit.
I'm pretty sure that would throw off like rotation, orbit, pretty much everything. I don't think that's a good idea.
It would save us, though.
Yeah. You know, it's a band-aid solution. I think we should really entertain the whole Snuggie thing.
No, but think about it. After we dodge the asteroid, because this will work, people, then, like every 4th of July, or like every time any country celebrates their independence, we fire all 4 thrusters at the same time.
And nothing happens.
Nothing happens. It's just like a celebration. It's just like, all right, everybody, it's the 4th of July. They're gonna fire all 4 thrusters.
It might smush the Earth a little
And
bit.
you can be like anywhere on the Earth and see these things because they're so big. And it's just like, this huge column of fire. And everybody celebrates and all 4 of them go and the Earth takes a little bit, but it doesn't move at all.
Sounds horrible.
And then it's over. And then we celebrate with these thrusters after we use them to dodge asteroids. And then if future asteroids come, we strategically use them and we get out of the way.
Leave a comment.
Tell me where I'm wrong, people.
With your idea, which I'm sure will be better than his, but maybe not better than mine.